Hello Sheffield Early Years, Penny Greenland here, Director of Jabadeo, and I'm here to tell you about the Developmental Movement Play course that I'm going to be teaching over Zoom in a number of sessions from November through to March, April next year, with lots of gaps in between. We've had a taster already, but I know that some of you are so busy at the moment, that you couldn't make that. So here's a quickie introduction to Developmental Movement Play, or DMP for short, because I'm hoping to entice you to come on the course. So DMP is a child-led, play-based approach to the physical development area of the curriculum. It's all about what children's bodies need so that they can develop absolutely as well as possible. Do you recognise this picture? This is actually from a government report called Bold Beginnings that was done a couple of years ago about learning in reception classes. And this was the front cover. These pictures, and they're beautifully contained bodies, aren't they? Or perhaps you recognise this picture, another lovely picture of young children engaged in some kind of movement activity, again beautifully ordered and contained. This is more what I recognise from children's movement, and this is what we're going to be looking at. Why do children, I think it's two children by the way, I think one's upside down and the other's whizzing and spinning. It's a very typical moment in a nursery that we were in Brixton actually some time ago. So we're going to be looking at why children move as they do. We'll look at the things that are close to your heart. Why are the wrigglers and jigglers wriggling and jiggling? What's it doing for their development, if anything? What's going on for the ones who play too forcefully? What about the ones who take big risks that really worry you? Or the ones who hardly move at all, which actually is just as worrying for different reasons. We'll look at lots of different kinds of movement that you recognise from your children, and in fact you're welcome to bring absolutely any movement profile from any of your children and ask me what's going on here. So to answer these questions, we're going to go back to the theory, really practical theory. What do children's bodies need? What kind of experiences do they need to engage with to develop well? And we're going to do that under two headings. One is sensory and the other is movement. On the sensory side of things, we're going to unpack 4 core body senses. These are the senses that give us the access to the feeling of me, which underpins absolutely everything we do in our lives, including physical development. Here we're going to look at touch, which you're very familiar with, but we're going to look at it in a very big, whole-bodied way, not just hands maybe. Then we're going to look at 3 senses that may be new to you, they may not. We're going to look at proprioception, which is about the felt map of the body, the vestibular sense, which is about our feeling our body in motion in relationship to everything around us, and interoception, which is about feeling the things on the inside of the body. When you learn about them, you'll go, oh, of course, I knew that, I just didn't know the theory. And it gives you a new way of seeing some of the movement preferences that your children have. On the motor section, the movement section, we call this me moving, and there we're not going to look at the milestones, the outcomes, we're going to look at the processes that lead up to the milestones. So I'll show you lots of little pieces of developmental movement, little movement patterns babies and children do to build their bodies, to build their strength, to build their coordination, to build their flexibility and their ease in their body. So the DMP course will give you, hopefully, new information, and what most practitioners say when they've done the course is, I've got a new set of eyes. You'll see the movement choices that your children make in a little bit of a different way. We'll round this all up, the feeling of me and the me moving sections, we'll round it all up into a 5-part framework, 5 fruit and veg, 5 ways of moving. A 5-part framework that gives you 5 very clear kinds of movement that children's bodies really need to develop well. They're things you'll be incredibly familiar with. And once you've done the course, you'll know even more about why children are choosing those kinds of movement. So it's not a course that will give you lots of new activity songs and games. It's a course that will give you new understanding about why children move as they do and what children's bodies need and how to create an environment in which they can get that. One of the key things we'll look at is creating a movement play area, somewhere absolutely dedicated to children's choices for movement, supported in a really focused way by you practitioners. I know it's hard thinking, oh, do we have to create more space? Don't worry, it does not take a lot of space, and we will find canny ways of fitting this in with all the other things you have to do as well. We've not failed yet. There are 5 sessions in all in the course, and you can take them on a Tuesday during the week or a Saturday morning, so take your pick there. And they happen in November, January, February, March, and then in April the final session is a special Ask Me Anything drop-in session. Once we've all gone through the course together, if you want to come back and say, how's this working, what am I seeing here, that's what that session is for. The Champions bit in the name The Champions course is intended to indicate that you have enough information from this course that you can go back and work with your colleagues to make some tweaks, some changes, some developments back in your setting. You can be the key person that leads on that. Now, we really strongly recommend that 2 of you come from each setting if that's remotely possible, because then you can give each other courage as you do that, because it is quite new, some of the material, and it's great to have an ally as you're working with your colleagues. So I really hope I've enticed you to join the course. We always have a really good time. There's no exuberant movement that you have to do on it. You're very welcome to join me in exploring the little movement patterns that I'll show you in your bodies, or you can watch. It's entirely up to you. Might be a good idea to have a space that you could stretch out in, because you might want to when we get there. Please join us. I look forward to seeing you.